Hello, my name is Jim Clune, and I've been working with computers since '79 when I got a computer science degree. I've done mainframe stuff and Unix stuff and performance measurement, and I've been involved in internet security since the late '90s. I got involved in Linux in the early '90s, and that's been a big part of my life as well. What I want to talk about right now, because I need to unburden myself about this, is something that I don't see being talked about enough in the popular media, and that's botnets as they relate to home computer users. It's a pretty serious issue, and if you're not familiar with a botnet, you need to be. Botnet. It's on the Wikipedia. You can go look it up. You'll pretty much learn what you need to know there. It's the reality of the internet economy now. It's what exists behind the screen. It's what exists when you take the sewer grating up and look below the level of the street and look down into the darkness. That's botnets are like rats, the reality of what the internet is. And they're enormous things, things that has never existed in human society that I can see before. They're more like hive organisms than anything else. Several of you right now, if more than 10 people are watching this ever, are on a botnet. Botnets are compromised home computers for the most part, computers even in companies that are making outbound connections through their firewall, so initiated from the compromised computer through the firewall, through a collection of confusing collection of intermediate computers to a bot controller, a botnet controller computer run by a bot herder who's actually orchestrating the behaviors of thousands and sometimes millions of such computers, all without the owner's awareness. Nothing bad is happening, nothing is stopping your computer from running. It's losing information and it's being used for other purposes than you realize, but it's probably running okay, and your antivirus is detecting nothing. This is what I want to talk about right now and what you can do about it. The reason this problem exists, by the way, is because the attacker has changed. In the early 2000s, crashing your computer or creating a network scare inside an organization was satisfying. 10 years later, and it's organized crime and the cyber warfare organizations within governments that are engaged in this kind of malicious software, malware, that forms the basis for botnets. It's very clever stuff. It's some of the brightest and most well-funded people on the planet, and we pretty much don't stand a chance against it as normal computer users. Why? Because what they're doing is hacking you. They're hacking our behavior, not the computer. They're creating instant messages, they're creating websites, they're causing Google searches to go in certain directions. They're using Facebook in clever ways. They're doing all sorts of things to insinuate themselves into the normal experience of using the internet. Eventually, one of those traps essentially that they've laid, and there's many, many, many of them, will fool you. You'll blunder into one. I'll blunder into one. You'll click on something that isn't what it's supposed to be. You'll get an instant message and believe it. You'll get an email and believe it because it makes sense to you. Most of us think who've been doing this for a while think we're immune to this, that we're sophisticated enough to avoid it. All I can tell you is that's not true. I'm not. And I don't regard myself as the most sophisticated person in this area, but from what I can see, it happens to the most sophisticated people in this area. It'll certainly happen to most of you. How to protect yourself. The best way that I can see is to avoid typing critical information on a general purpose computer. That is, if you have several computers in your home that are used for entertainment, for web searches, for watching streaming video, Facebook, YouTube, all the rest, the stuff people do for entertainment and to research things on the web. You can still do all that. You can do your shopping on these computers. That is, you can look for things to buy. But when it comes time to buy, when it comes time to check that bank account and log on to that banking site, when it comes time to log into some computer that you might manage over the internet, type the credit card number, type the social security number, stop. Don't do that on the general purpose computer because the odds are it's hacked and the keystrokes and information that you're about to type is going to leave and be used to hurt you. When you need to type sensitive information, Go to a separate computer, possibly like a $300 netbook that you might buy at a discount house, and use it for that purpose. Use it only for that purpose. Don't instant message, don't email, don't do casual things. I mean, if you have to do all that, confine it to the very narrow range of things that you absolutely need to do and have secure. But don't use that computer for general entertainment or web surfing. Don't let your kids use it. If you do this, confine your critical typing to a dedicated security appliance, if you will, a special purpose computer, the chances of that particular computer getting hacked are very small. The chances go way down because it's the casual stuff that gets you. The very directed stuff won't, as long as you're careful about only going to sites that you know about and trust. That's it. That's what I strongly recommend in the era of botnets, to keep your computer, your critical computer, from being hacked and put on a botnet and to have you lose your sensitive information. Do all your general surfing on the general purpose computers, your critical stuff on the special purpose security appliance, the cheap little computer that you do nothing else on. I'll talk more about this later, and I'll probably want to talk about what botnets mean for organizations that give their employees laptops that go back and forth. You can probably see where that's going to go. But I wanted to get this one thing out because, as I said, I don't see it being talked about, and I think it's important. Well, again, thanks for your time, and hopefully I'll do another one of these shortly.